So this is another write a program question, sort of thing that will be in paper 1. So we've got writing a Python subroutine which takes 2 character arrays called word and pre. So when it says a character array, it just means a string of words, because strings are indexed. So in the case of this one that we've got here, bitmap, then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be the positions, and we can get 1 character out of that string. So that's what it means by an array of characters, or a character array. So it starts with the same sequence of characters and what we're looking for. So if in this case bitmap, if that was the word and bit was the prefix, then bit and bit are in the same place in both of them. So that is a prefix of word. So that's what we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out whether the prefix characters are an actual prefix of the word. And we're going to return true and false for this from the subroutine. So remember, a subroutine, it's like a definition, and these are the parameters that we're sending to it. Parameters, so word and pre. So we're in the actual program, we would get people to enter those. We don't need to worry about that in this, because we're just writing the subroutine, not anything else. So if you want to have a go at doing this, if you want to pause the video and have a go, and then I'll try and write that subroutine for you. So the first thing we could think about is, obviously, if the word is shorter than the prefix, then it's not going to be a prefix. So we might say if the len of pre is more than, greater than the len of word, then let's just return true and finish. Sorry, return false, of course, and finish. Because if the length of the prefix is more than the word, then it can't be a prefix. But if that's not the case, then we can move on. So let's have a flag variable called, shall we call it is a prefix? And we'll make that to be true for a start. And then we want to step through each of these words, the word and the prefix, at the same time. We know how big it is, how long the prefix is, so we could just use a for I in range. So let's say for I in range brackets 0 to the length of the prefix pre, and that will help us to step through from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to however far we've gone in the prefix. So if prefix square brackets here, I is not equal to word I. So if they're not the same, then is a prefix will be false. So that will be false, because if they're not the same, then we've come across a letter combination that are not correct. They're not the same. So we've not matched this one with this one, for example. Then we've not matched in our bitmap. We didn't match. Instead of matching B with B, we didn't. There was something else happening. So if we did it with A and C here, B would not match to P. So is a prefix becomes false. So then all we have to do after that is then return the value, because this is going to step through, this loop will step through all of it and have a look at that all the way up to the length of the prefix. So then all we need to do is return is a prefix, and that is a prefix will contain either true if nothing changed in here, or false if it came across something that doesn't match. So that would do the whole thing. So we're going to get a good nice 9 marks for this. So we're going to get some points for having this first bit, which thinks about the length correctly and returns the correct value. We're going to get some points for having a loop that loops through and compares each character in turn with its character in the other word. We're going to have some points for having a flag variable of some kind, some points for returning the correct value, and there'll be some design points for correct variable names, etc. So we've been given these variable names, word and pre here. So they were given to us, so we must keep using those, even if we think we'd like to call it prefix instead of pre. We need to use the same words because they've given them to us. So hopefully you got an okay with that one. You could have done this, of course, with a while loop as well, and then added 1 to your counter every time. But because we knew the numbers involved here, we only need to go up to the length of the prefix. So we can use the foreign range for in this case